Hey friends, welcome back. John here. I want to talk about laying down the sketch for our painting. If we're going to do a portrait painting, we need a sketch to work with. I'm going to show you how to get that sketch made that we can paint on. So I remember sitting in on a demonstration by a nationally known artist. He said, get the sketch on the paper. Doesn't matter if you trace it, if you copy it, if you use a projecting device, just get the sketch on the paper, because the art is not in the sketch. The art is in the color, in the painting process. So just get the sketch on the paper. All right, this is going to be the portrait that I'm painting. This was, I screenshot, emailed it to myself, downloaded it on my laptop and printed it on the printer, just on plain copy paper, and that's all we need. Now you choose a photograph that you like and get it on the copy paper any way that you can do that. I resized it and cropped it to get it the size of the paper that we're going to use. So however you need to do that, do that. What we're going to do is get the sketch on the paper using carbon paper, and let's go ahead and get into that. I'm going to tell you how we're going to go about doing it. Here's the Canson watercolor paper we purchased at our Walmart Supercenter a little while ago, and we're going to pull one sheet off, and you'll notice the texture on it. One side has the more texture than the other. We're going to use the textured side of the paper. We're going to lay it on our foam board. Like I say, you can use a foam board or a clipboard or a piece of plywood, whatever you have available. Painter's tape or masking tape. I like using a painter's tape because it's a little easier to get off without tearing my portrait paper. If you do have trouble getting your tape off, take the blow dryer and heat it up a little bit, and it comes off real easy. So okay, and we're gonna lay this tape on there. I usually go about halfway of the tape on the paper. Doesn't have to be exactly parallel with the edge. It doesn't have to be the straightest thing in the history of the world. Just get it on there. And like I say, about half of the tape on the paper and half of the tape on the foam board. And that's what we're going to try to achieve right there. Make sure we get it stuck down real good. And we're going to put that tape on all four sides. Get it stuck down real good. What this is going to do is prevent that paper from buckling too bad while we're painting, because so we'll finish up with the masking tape. Yes, it keeps the paper from buckling too bad when you begin to paint, because the water will naturally cause that paper to buckle and to bend. And this tape just, the taping it down here on this board just prevents it from moving too much to keep you from painting. So we're going to tape it down on that board right there. Next thing we want to do is we want to get the photograph that we have and print it off the size. You can print it off on copy paper. That's what I do. This is the one that we're going to use. If you can see that. I screenshotted this and then emailed it to myself and downloaded it on my laptop and then printed a copy of this. And any way that you can get it printed out, just do that. I obviously had to crop it and size it, but I use a program, Home Publishing 2000. Yes, it's a little outdated. I had to have my computer upgraded just so it would run that program, but I like that program. I've used it for years, and I'm not changing now. So anyway, I got my subject printed out on this copy paper, and I'm going to try to get her face located where I want it on the painting, and then I'm going to tape it down, just a little something to keep it from sliding around while we're doing the sketching part. Now, carbon paper. I have some in here that I've used. These things last for years. I've had this carbon paper for I don't know how long, and it's still going. So once you buy it, you can use it for years. So anyway, got my carbon paper. What I'm going to do is slip this carbon paper. Make sure you put the black side of the carbon paper toward your Canson watercolor paper, so that when you draw on it on here, it will transfer to your watercolor paper. And what we're going to do is we're going to give some basic outlines of this portrait. You don't have to be real detailed with it. We're not trying to put the art in the sketch. We're going to do that with watercolor. We just want some basic outlines. We want to make sure we have the shape of the eyes and the location of the eyes in the right place. We'll make sure we have the shape and location of the nose in the right place, shape, location of the mouth and lips in the right place, and those kind of things. The shape of the chin and the jaws, and all of that will be important to make watercolor portrait look like the subject you're painting. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And I usually rest my hand against the paper. You want to be careful that you don't do too much, because whatever you put on there, it's going to transfer to your watercolor paper. So I'm going to do just a little brief detail of the eyebrow, not too much. It doesn't have to be too much. We're going to paint this. We just needed some outlines. I'm going to just give this eye a little bit of definition here. We want to make sure that we get those in the right place. This fold in the eyelid, we'll make sure we know where that's located. And this is pretty typical of portraits that I paint. A lot of them I don't have some of the details that I have in this one. Some of them that I don't have a straight on face. A lot of them I like to have a portrait where someone is working, they're looking away, they're looking down, there's a different perspective than just a posed portrait. But this is going to work for us to start out, this posed portrait. And just some basic details here. We don't want to get overwhelmed by this sketch. Just some basic outlines. Okay, this, and you'll notice I don't always connect my lines in a painting. What we do, there's some things that we don't put in as far as detail. Some things that can be left out. The viewer's eyes and their mind fills in some details that you don't put in. So what we're looking for is just basic outlines. Let's see what we can get here. Okay, I'm gonna get some details for the hairline, and you can go ahead and draw a few hair strands in your sketch, just so that you know which way the hair is going. Sometimes that's important when you're painting, to know the direction of the hair. You want to know where the part in the hair is. So we're going to put a few details in there. And you notice that my print is not as wide as my paper. So we can go out here and we can make it up, you know. This is okay to make up some of the details that you don't actually have or see. And we're just going to keep going here. Let's see if we can get this sketch done and get busy painting. I'm going to run a few hairs out there. And we're not going to be too detailed with the hair anyway. Like I say, we're going to let the eyes and the mind fill in some details that we don't put in. Okay, I got some eyebrows in, some eyes and nose, lips and mouth. I think our sketch is ready. I believe that we have enough to paint with right now. But wait a minute. Don't take this tape off until you raise it up, pull the carbon paper off, and then you look at your sketch. You look at the sketch and you check and make sure you get all the detail that you think you need to paint this portrait. If you get some smudges or something, you can take your eraser and take that out. And a lot of times, I think we got enough detail here. I'm going to take that copy off. Sometimes I get too dark. If I press too hard, we don't want too much dark lines in our watercolor painting. Sometimes I'll take a eraser and just lighten it up. Now, this carbon paper on the watercolor paper, it won't totally erase, so that's a good thing. So we can go here and just lighten it up with this eraser so that we have a guide to use for painting, but at the same time, we don't want the lines, the pencil lines, or in our painting to be overwhelming. There's a thought throughout the industry that pencil lines are okay in watercolor painting, because we all know that watercolor paintings are done on sketches. So there's a certain degree of pencil lines that are okay, and we're not going to push that limit with the sketch we have here. And let's see. I'm just going to lighten these all up a little bit, and we can now. After you get this now, if we have forgotten something, we'll be able to fill that in with paint. If we see something in the photograph that we didn't get on the sketch, don't worry, don't give up on it, because we can do that with paint. I have made these sketches by hand, but I don't like to do that because I want to make sure proportions and locations are right so we can recognize a person. Some more talented artists can paint a portrait without a sketch. I need a sketch. Some can sketch without transferring with carbon paper or projection devices. I'm not that guy. This is the way I work, and you've seen some of my work, so this is how I started. I got to the result that you see on my Facebook page or wherever you've seen my work. So now that we've got our sketch ready, we can go ahead and lay down some color. The next video is going to be when we start laying down color, putting the paint on the paper, and I get excited about that. So please join me in the next video. We're going to paint an awesome portrait, and thank you for joining in. Please like and subscribe, and God bless you.